The Supreme Court has refused to initiate contempt proceedings against US-based hedge fund Deccan Value Investors for trying to go back on its bid to acquire the bankrupt Amtek Auto Limited. However, the court made it clear that Deccan Value Investors cannot raise force majeure clause while challenging the approval which was granted to its bid. The court noted that there was no need for a contempt case as Deccan Value Investors had already been disallowed from withdrawing their offer on 18 June 2020 and asked NCLAT to decide the appeal filed by the US-based hedge fund in a month's time. The top court held that lenders cannot initiate contempt of court proceedings against the applicant if it does not claim before NCLT that the pandemic had drastically altered the financial calculations that formed the basis for its previous offer. The court ruling took note of instances of various bidders invoking force majeure clauses to get rid of their previous commitments due to financial constraints imposed by the pandemic. Petitions in the apex court filed by lenders of Amtek Auto wanted to prosecute Deccan Value Investors for trying to wriggle out of their obligation to acquire the bankrupt auto parts maker after emerging as the successful resolution applicant. On September 25 last year, the top court had issued a contempt notice to Deccan Value Investors for trying to avoid the takeover of Amtek Auto after its Rs 2,700 crore bid was approved by NCLT. Deccan Value Investors had invoked the force majeure clause in view of slump in industrial activity during the pandemic, claiming that their commercial assumptions for the auto parts maker had been rendered as redundant due to the prevailing market conditions. With the resolution process dating back to 24 July 2017, when the Corporation Bank had moved NCLT, Amtek Auto is one of the longest cases which is still awaiting resolution under the IBC. Owing over Rs 12,800 crores to its financial and operational creditors, Amtek Auto was identified among 12 large corporate defaulters by the Reserve Bank of India in June 2017. In September 2019, the top court had allowed Amtek Auto's resolution professional to invite fresh bids within 31 days. The top court back then had allowed lenders to decide on the final resolution plan within 2 weeks thereafter, while the COC was asked to submit the final plan before the top court by 5th of November 2019. COC at that point of time had informed the top court that 8 companies had expressed interest to take over Amtek Auto. Lenders had also submitted that it was in no one's interest to allow an auto company to slip into liquidation during a slump. Liberty House had sought time at that point of time to file a reply to IBBI's appeal, while the court had deferred the hearing for a later date. NCLAT earlier had ruled that IBBI had the power to file criminal complaints in insolvency cases only after NCLT has given its order.